Setting boundaries with an abusive partner can be difficult and dangerous, but it is important to remember that you have the right to protect yourself from abuse. Here are some tips. 1. Identify your boundaries. What behaviors are unacceptable to you? What are your needs and wants in the relationship? Once you know what your boundaries are, you can start to communicate them to your partner. 2. Be clear and direct. When you communicate your boundaries to your partner, be clear and direct. Avoid using vague language or beating around the bush. For example, instead of saying, "I don't like it when you yell at me," say, "I will not tolerate being yelled at." 3. Be consistent. Once you have set boundaries, be consistent in enforcing them. This means following through with your consequences if your partner crosses a boundary. For example, if you have told your partner that you will not be around them when they are drunk, and they come home drunk, you should leave the house or go to a separate room. 4. Be prepared for resistance. Abusive partners may try to resist your boundaries. They may try to manipulate you, guilt trip you, or even threaten you. It is important to stay firm and not back down. 5. Have a safety plan. If you are in danger of physical abuse, it is important to have a safety plan. This may include having a code word or phrase that you can use to signal to a friend or family member that you need help, or having a safe place to go where your partner cannot find you. It is also important to remember that you are not alone. There are many resources available to help you set boundaries with an abusive partner. You can talk to a therapist, counselor, or domestic violence advocate. You can also join a support group for people in abusive relationships. Here are some additional tips for setting boundaries with an abusive partner. Don't try to explain or justify your boundaries. Abusive partners are often skilled at manipulating and gaslighting. They may try to convince you that your boundaries are unreasonable or that you are overreacting. It is important to stand your ground and not engage in arguments. Don't be afraid to say no. You have the right to say no to your partner, even if they don't like it. If your partner asks you to do something that you don't want to do, or that violates your boundaries, say no and walk away. Don't feel guilty about enforcing your consequences. If your partner crosses a boundary, it is important to follow through with your consequences. This may mean leaving the house, going to a separate room, or ending the relationship. It is important to remember that you are not responsible for your partner's behavior. If you are in an abusive relationship, it is important to get help. There are many resources available to you, including domestic violence shelters, hotlines, and counseling services. You can also talk to a trusted friend or family member. Remember that you are not alone and you deserve to be safe.